I attacked him viciously, and I didn't stop. The only time I paused was to go to the kitchen and retrieve a butcher knife, because I was going to kill him.
You discover that he has been sexually abusing him in your home. You know, father did what a father had to do.
In the realm of parental instincts, the desire to protect one's child knows no bounds. For some parents, this protective instinct has led them to take matters into their own hands when justice seems elusive. From dramatic confrontations to calculated acts of retaliation, these instances of parental vengeance showcase the depths of a parent's love and the lengths they'll go to safeguard their children.
We took turns just right around this neighborhood. Just he would do the stick shift and the clutch, and we would steer. Well, we were driving around the block, and all of a sudden he put his hands in my lap, and I'm like, uh-oh. And then he quit, and then I was like, okay, maybe that was an accident. And then I'm driving a little bit more, and it happens again, and I'm like, whoa. Well, that was him testing the boundaries to see how I would respond. And
Gary Plauch's airport showdown.
We were scared, and our reaction was just erratic at times. We just, didn't know what to think. It's just a waiting that, I don't know, it's a lot of waiting. We didn't know what to do. You just feel helpless.
He was there. He was okay. He was home. I finally knew for the first time in 10 days where my son was.
1984. In a harrowing tale of parental desperation, Gary Plauch found himself at the epicenter of a chilling ordeal. His son, Jody Plauch, had fallen victim to the sinister clutches of his karate instructor, Jeff Deuce. Jody's ordeal began with a kidnapping orchestrated by Deuce, who then subjected the young boy to unspeakable horrors in a California motel room. Amidst the anguish of not knowing his son's whereabouts, Gary Plett awaited Deuce's arrival at the airport, his nerves wound tight with fear for his child's safety. When Deuce finally emerged, Gary's pent-up anguish and rage erupted into a fateful confrontation. In front of cameras capturing the chaos, Gary Plett made a split-second decision that would alter the course of his life forever. On March 16, 1984, Doucet was flown back to Louisiana to face trial. He arrived at the airport in handcuffs, escorted by police officers through the airport at around 9:30 p.m., where Plauch was waiting for Doucet.
As a parent in your position, did you learn anything from this?
Just how much I love my children. Really how much. It's just, it's a lonely feeling.
An employee of the local news channel had told Plauch when Doucet would be arriving at the airport. A news crew had set up their cameras to record Doucet's arrival.
As the suspect came through the airport, I readied my camera, raised it up to get a close-up shot of him. As I got a close-up shot and as he got parallel to me.
Opposite the news crew was Plauch, who wore a baseball cap and sunglasses so that no one would recognize him. As Doucet was escorted through the airport, he passed the news crew who were taping the scene. He then walked past Plauch, who fired at the right side of Doucet's head point blank. Doucet fell to the floor, bleeding from a wound close to his right ear. The officers who grabbed hold of Plauch recognized him. They kept him pinned against the bank of telephones, asking him, "Gary, why? Why, Gary?"
Gary, why? Gary, why? Gary, why? And to this day, it stands out in my mind, the shooter, Gary Plauch, says, if it had been your child, you would have done the same thing too.
It's very emotional. I might be a little bit more protective or overprotective, I don't know.
The incident was captured on videotape. Doucet fell into a coma and died from the gunshot wound the next day. Though driven by an undying paternal instinct to protect his son, Gary Plett's actions would have legal repercussions. Despite facing the weight of manslaughter charges, Plett's plight ignited a national conversation about the lengths parents will go to safeguard their children from harm. Jason Browning's Stand Against Abuse.
Jason tells us his son is in counseling. He says he's a very tough kid who will get through this. He says this has not only affected his family emotionally, but financially as well.
Jason Browning's world shattered when he discovered the heinous act committed against his son by Raymond Frolander.
I just walked in and found a grown man molesting, and I got him in a bloody puddle for you right now, officer.
Faced with the stark reality of his son's trauma, Browning's protective instincts kicked into overdrive.
I attacked him viciously, and I didn't stop. The only time I paused was to go to the kitchen and retrieve a butcher knife, because I was going to kill him.
In a moment of raw emotion and unrelenting fury, Browning unleashed a torrent of physical retribution upon Frolander, rendering him unconscious. The line between justice and vengeance blurred as Browning grappled with the urge to deliver fatal retribution, a decision tempered only by his son's intervention.
I was going to kill him when my son stepped in front of me and saved his life. He just looked at me and said, "Sir," and he shook his head and just, "No." And I just put the knife down. I just wouldn't traumatize him any more than he already was.
While Browning's actions resulted in Frolander's incapacitation, they also ignited a legal firestorm. Despite the tumultuous aftermath, Browning's resolve to protect his son from further harm remains unwavering, a testament to the lengths parents will go to shield their children from assailants. Paramjit Singh's Vigilante Justice, 2016, Jumba Village, India. Paramjit Singh's world was torn asunder when his infant daughter fell victim to a despicable act of intimate physical exploitation. Faced with a justice system that seemed powerless to deliver recompense, Singh took matters into his own hands. In a vigilante act fueled by frustration and anguish, Singh meted out his own brand of justice upon the perpetrator. With brutal efficiency, Singh subjected the perpetrator to a punishment befitting his crime, spiking his coke with drugs, tying him up to the tree and chopping off his hands as a stark reminder of the consequences of preying upon the innocent. Singh had informed the police what he intended to do. Singh's actions serve as a chilling reminder of the lengths to which a parent will go to protect their child from the scourge of exploitation, even at the risk of forsaking the constraints of law and order. Marianne Bachmeier's Courtroom Tragedy, Germany. (1981). Few stories evoke as much sorrow and controversy as that of Marianne Bachmeier, a mother driven to the brink when her beloved daughter fell victim to a senseless act of violence at the hands of Klaus Grabowski. In the wake of this unimaginable tragedy, Bachmeier's grief knew no bounds. Her daughter's life, extinguished in a cruel twist of fate, left a void in Bachmeier's heart that could never be filled. As the wheels of justice turned, Bachmeier found herself confronted with the harrowing reality of her daughter's perpetrator standing trial. In a courtroom packed with spectators, emotions ran high as the proceedings unfolded. But for Bachmeier, the trial was more than a quest for justice. It was a crucible of agony and vengeance. Driven by grief and rage, Bachmeier reached a tipping point that fateful day. In a moment of profound despair, she seized a weapon and unleashed a torrent of retribution upon Grabowski. The man responsible for her daughter's untimely demise. The deafening roar of gunfire shattered the courtroom's facade of order, plunging it into chaos and disbelief. While some hailed her as a grieving mother driven to the brink by unbearable sorrow, others condemned her act of vigilantism as a brazen disregard for the rule of law. Amidst the swirling tempest of public opinion, Bachmeier found herself ensnared in the coils of justice once more. Charged with premeditated manslaughter, she faced the prospect of a future defined by prison walls and the haunting specter of her daughter's memory. Eduardo Gallo's quest for closure.
He's got a house full of children, and now he's going to spend the rest of his life in a penitentiary. I mean, who's going to take care of his kid?
Eduardo Gallo's world crumbled when his 25-year-old daughter fell victim to a senseless act of napping. The napper demanded a hefty ransom for the daughter's release. The perpetrator's cruelty knew no bounds, as when Gallo arranged and paid for the ransom, he slayed his daughter anyway. Faced with the crushing weight of grief and injustice, Gallo embarked on a relentless pursuit of the truth. With unwavering determination, he left his consulting career and became an amateur detective to piece together the puzzle of his daughter's untimely demise. After a year of tirelessly investigating, he was successful in ultimately unmasking the perpetrators responsible for her fate. Gallo's tireless crusade for justice serves as a beacon of hope amidst the darkness of loss, illustrating the indomitable spirit of a parent driven by love and a thirst for closure.
I'll always love you, my adored child. Thank you for your smile and your caresses. Thank you for your songs, your happiness, and your love of life. You always lit the path so I could distinguish between justice and vengeance.
Signing off for now. Tune in next time for another riveting episode.